Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Earl, explain it to me.
So how about that Agatha All Along show? Am I right? What's the bullshit?
So they promised to end that show on a big gay explosion. And like, 'cause they asked Aubrey Plaza, why did you sign on for this? Is this good? Because this, we heard that this was going to be like an explicitly gay show. And she's like, yeah, like it ends with like, well, I signed on for that. It ends with the big gay explosion. And it did. And all I could think of when she said that was, like, I hope like
I thought so.
two people kiss and there's a big explosion. Like, I hope it's literally a big gay explosion. And it was. And I clapped. I stood up and I clapped. Like, fuck yeah! So simple. It's perfect.
So you hated it then? Okay, that's fine. Cool. Walk away from that one.
Totally hated it. And the fact that it was even gay, you were just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess it was. They snuck that in there, didn't they? Fuck them, crazy bastard.
Better than Acolyte.
Good. I didn't watch any of it. So.
No, like this is like 10 times way more gay than Acolyte was. Way more gay than Acolyte was. But it's like 1,000% better writing wise, way better acting. Yeah. Like it was a good show.
He drove away in a Subaru. That's how gay it was, man.
Was it at least an impression?
No, but honestly, I just finished Agatha. Like me and Caitlin binged it in like a day, and I really appreciated that as a TV show. I just had to say that. That was my recent pop culture thing. That's not just fucking Tremors. Like, I really liked a show that knew what it was doing from the outset, and even like that I love a great twist when it's telegraphed too, and it makes you feel like a fucking idiot for like, oh my god, that was there the whole fucking time. And they made every episode count too, which is always the thing I hate about Marvel shows, where there's those fillers and whatever, but they made every single fucking one mean something. And I was just like, god damn, yes, I can't wait to rewatch it. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It was even Caitlin was sick, and she came in like on episode 2 or 3, and she's like, and then we kept watching, and she's like, I need to rewatch this when I'm not sick because this has been amazing. I'm like, you have no idea. Oh my god, yes. So yes, that was a show I didn't want, but I'm glad that I got in the end. I just had to go that show.
Yeah, I wanted it. I could say I wanted it, but I didn't want it to be bad. And when they held it over for 2 years, like, golly, I was nervous because I liked Agatha's character in WandaVision. And more importantly, I liked WandaVision. WandaVision made Wanda more important in the MCU than what she really is, even in the comics. Like, she's cool in the comics. She's historic, but she's never like a standout character per se. WandaVision made Wanda stand out in the MCU. The two of them together, like, it made them cool and relevant, not just back West Coast Avengers characters. And I appreciated it a lot. Like, the work that they put into that show really, really paid off. And then when you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier after that, you were kind of like, well, this is okay too.
No.
But it wasn't as good as that first series. Like, I don't think anything outside of Werewolf by Night came as close to being as good as WandaVision.
Loki. I was gonna say Loki would have been my other one. Loki was another, like, but it goes back to knowing what you're doing before you fucking hire anybody. You like that script. That script is your most important fucking thing, and then everything else comes after. You have to know that like ahead of time, or it's just bullshit.
Yes, and they didn't have that with Doctor Strange, and that's why they did Wanda dirty in Doctor Strange.
So I rewatched WandaVision yesterday, and then I was like, oh, I'm done with WandaVision. I'll go on to Multiverse of Madness. And I liked Multiverse of Madness in the theaters, but watching it immediately after WandaVision, I was like, Oh, I see the complaints now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes no sense. We
that wasn't even like a 180. That was like an inverse Mobius into its own ass. I was like, oh man, ouch! It did. Like I was bored. Like I was legitimately like, oh man, I like loved rewatching WandaVision immediately after Agatha. And it was like, oh, these things are. I see the way that this flows or whatever. And then Multiverse, I was like, oh, Sam, really, man? Out of everything, that's goddamn. That sucks.
He was fixing somebody else's movie. He didn't get
Yeah.
to do that from beginning
Yeah.
to end, though.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's been the problem with Marvel. When they pass one thing off to another director, like they only give them bits and pieces. They don't show them the whole story. Like, no, dude, you needed to have shown Sam the entire fucking spectrum of what you're doing. In fact, get him involved in it because he's a master at horror. If you're going to make Wanda a supernatural character, maybe get someone like him involved to be like an executive producer all the way around, like Luis Esposito is all the time.
Yeah.
Well, he sounds
That's-
like Sam's coming back for Doctor Strange 3.
Yes.
Yeah. At least from the start. That's literally, I'm not trying to bring it back on purpose. That was literally the problem with Tremors 5, 6, and 7, is that there is this lore and this theme and everything from 1 through 4 in that TV show. You can feel all of that. And then boom, you're like, whoa. And I mean, Michael's there, and you can tell that Michael is just fucking pulling everything in the background to keep things going. But you don't have 4 separate people who's a writer, 2 writers, a director, and a producer whose specific job is to know everything about Tremors, carrying that for. And it's just like, no, it and I use Tremors as the example, but that just applies to everything in terms of like, just give it to the people that actually know what they're doing. Don't just like half-ass this and kind of throw it off to someone who maybe might know what they're doing, but doesn't
Try
have
and
the
make
full
money
story.
with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I think that's why it's important that they got Jack Schaefer to do Agatha again.
I
Because
didn't even
she
realize
knew the
she did
character.
WandaVision. Yeah.
Because if you don't watch WandaVision, or at least the final episode of WandaVision, before going into Agatha, you're going to be very bored, if not stop at episode 1. Episode 1 was not good and doesn't make a whole lot of sense until either you get to episode 2 or you just finish watching WandaVision, because in WandaVision, that's where she gets cursed to get put into a TV series of the week or whatever, that she's going to live out some fantasy. And then you're seeing her in that first episode living out this fantasy. And then she gets broken out from the curse and she's in our regular MCU as we see it. But it's that first 40 minutes where you're kind of like, okay, this is weird. Where is this going? Is she going after Wanda's killer? Is Wanda dead? Is this about Wanda? There's this weird MacGuffin where you're not sure what's happening in the first episode. And it really takes a while to get going. But once it does, if you could survive that first 30 to 40 minutes, gosh, it's such a fun show.
Yeah.
Especially when the horror really started to kick in.
Yeah. And it did. And there were consequences. When people died, they were actually dead in the show.
Yeah, they stayed dead.
I totally thought that Kitty Foreman was going to come back to life. Like I did. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I was
Oh, is she
hoping.
dead? I did too, because I just love her as an actress.
Yeah.
Deborah Jo Rupp just kicks ass, but it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
She dead. She big dead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She big dead.
Dead.
I thought
She's
she was
better than
come
dead.
back as
Not
Mephisto.
even mostly dead, just
Yeah.
dead.
Mostly dead.
Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, you were talking. I heard you.
Oh, I was saying I was hoping she was going to come back as Mephisto, maybe like in the.
Jesus Christ.
But no, they did nothing of the sort. And you could see in the show where they took Kang out.
Mhm.
Kang would have been in the Patti LuPone episode where she talks about how time is not fluid. All different things happen at the same time. And you interpret it differently. And the way they filmed that episode was very Pulp Fiction-ish.
Mhm.
And it was so cool to watch. And then it shows you flashbacks of things you've seen of Patti LuPone freaking out about throughout the entire episode or throughout the entire series. And you're like, oh my God, it all makes sense now. So like they designed this show to make you want to go back and rewatch it once you're done finishing watching it.
Mhm.
And that episode, that was one where like she's gonna die. You see this all coming, and that impact of her not only dying but then accepting herself and like what she's done is just like
Oh,
it's heart wrenching but heartwarming at the same time. Like, oh my
yeah.
damn God, like writing. I go back to it all the time where it's like, man, writing is so fucking important. Like I can't yell about it enough. Like
Where
God
she
damn.
tells Jen, I loved being a witch. I'm
witch.
like, oh, girl, no.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I gotta bounce
true.
out of here.
We should all go. We've been talking too much. So sorry, Chad.
Yeah, no worries.
Have a good night, Chad.
All
Yeah,
right,
pleasure
y'all
meeting
take
you,
it
man.
easy. Yeah,
See ya.
see you again.
We will.
On Agatha, though, what got me, because when Audrey Plaza walked up to the background, I
Yes.
just got it. I was like, oh, shit. I think I figured this out. It's not reality. This whole
Yeah.
Witch's Road is fake. It's. I'm like, oh, is he creating it like his mom did? And I'm like, oh, I'll find out. And then when I got to the end, I was like, oh, good. I was right. But just seeing that, like, she really cut into that background was just amazing.
Leaning into that lack of budget. Like literally like, oh, that's a fake bat. Oh my God. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Death just ripped through reality.
Yeah.
And then even adding that extra later. Oh no, that wasn't even a reality. That was a fake one on top. Holy fucking. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite things in the whole show was that little tiny fucking moment.
Yeah.
Like, God damn. I didn't even figure it out. I must say it was only until like Billy came back to his bedroom and then put the pieces together that I was like, of course, this was the thing the whole fucking time. But just that, like I said, that one, it was so death in that aspect of like, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. This is my world. You're all just living in it. God damn, was that cool? Sorry. God damn it. Sorry. This is cool. Sorry. God damn it was cool. Sorry, I don't mean to keep saying sorry, but it was so fucking awesome. I'm coming down. I'm not even high. I haven't had any drugs or anything. This is just a 100% sober. That was awesome, man. That was just fucking cool.
Well, it was cool because you kept having to ask yourself, and they kept asking you, what is at the end of the road? And at first we were all being led to believe that Kang was at the end of the road. Kang wrote the Darkhold. And the Darkhold was more or less a MacGuffin in this series. What was at the end of the road was a MacGuffin in the series. Or at least that's what they turned it into. And so they kind of went with that concept of how do we end She-Hulk? Well, what's the bad guy at the end of She-Hulk? Well,
there is none.
What if we don't have a bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then what? And they did it better than what they did with She-Hulk in this. Like you felt more satisfied at the end of this. There is a crescendo of sorts. There is a final battle, but there is no the bad guy. You're not going to see the baddie for the next Dark Universe type movie.
Yeah.
Nothing like that, but you still walk away feeling very satisfied where you're like, you know what? That was still a damn good story. That was still really cool for Agatha. That was still really cool for Billy. And you still walk away not really missing Wanda that much. Like, well, I mean, you do miss Wanda, but not like you don't feel like, well, they're still doing her dirty. Just like, oh, well, she'll be back. She'll be back.
Well, it serves the purpose of the point of a MacGuffin in storytelling is that it is simply an object that pushes the characters to go on an adventure. The real thing that you're supposed to gain is whatever, transformation that you go throughout the journey. Like that's the, Indiana Jones. It's not really about the arc. It's not really about the Holy Grail. It's about Indy learning certain things along the way to become a different person. And that's literally with all of it. Like death isn't a bad guy. Death is, we all die. This is a part of it. Billy's learning, that he is powerful, that he does bad things, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. Even Agatha, which was one of my favorite things, it didn't even stop her from being a villain.
Yeah,
like
no.
It kept her as like, no, you're still a pretty shitty fucking person. However, there is this aspect of you, this humanizing aspect that like, okay, maybe we can see that and that's why you're doing some things, but
She
also
has-
you still kind of suck.
She's a rancid bitch
Yeah.
with one soft spot, and that's Billy.
Yep.
She likes Billy and Tommy. She enjoyed babysitting them. Like, she sincerely enjoyed watching the boys for Wanda during WandaVision.
Sometimes, Billy, boys just die. Like, that line just fucking hit. And then even knowing the episode after, and that was one that I was like, oh, damn, girl, there's a, ooh, that just hurts. You know, you can, I imagine, I was going to say Hitler. Why did my mind go there? But for some reason, I was thinking of Hitler and the dog painting from It's Always Sunny, where it's like, okay, so Hitler liked dogs. That was his one. Maybe that one dog was his like his dog died when he was young or whatever, and that was his one motivation to be an asshole. I'm not excusing Hitler on this podcast, guys.
But it was a dog, so we get it. Did we just lose Levi?
I think so. Hear that? He froze.
Oh man, YouTube just nailed him.
Hear that? Or he kicked the cord out. It was excitement.
That wasn't me, I promise.
I said Hitler and I killed the whole stream. I'm sorry. My bad.
Thank you for watching this clip from our Dead Wire live streams every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Did you like this clip? If so, please make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe to this video. Stay tuned to all of our video content. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.